Hello, welcome to Literal Equations. This is in the third week of study. Literal equations are really just equations where we don't get a number answer. Alright, the answer is an expression. A lot of times there's not a lot of calculating, and this concept seems to sometimes confuse students, I guess because it's not a regular answer. It looks like it's a bunch of numbers, and maybe you think, this can't be right, I have to do more. Maybe you think that it doesn't look right or it looks funny. And I think what happens is that we forget that variables represent numbers. All right? When you do these, you solve them exactly the same way. All right. Now, for the first example, I've got distance equals rate times time, d equals rt. And we want to solve this for t. All right, if we want to solve it for t, it means we want to get t by itself. Now, for a moment, I want to write this right here. I want to write 60 equals 20x. If we had to solve this one, many of you would look at me and you'd say, well, that's easy. We want to get the x by itself. The 20 is being multiplied times the x. So we're going to do the opposite to both sides. We're going to divide both sides by 20. 60 divided by 20 is 3. And you would tell me that x equals 3, or 3 equals x. Well, on this one here, I'm solving for t. What's happening with the r and the t? When letters are next to each other, it means multiply. What's the opposite of multiply? Divide. I'm going to divide by r, divide by r. All right, when you divided by 20 here, the 20s cancel. Now we're dividing by r, the r's cancel. And we get distance divided by the rate equals the time. Notice on this one, you didn't have to do any arithmetic. You didn't have to do any calculating. This actually is easier to do than this. There's an extra step in this one. You have to do the arithmetic. Here, not much arithmetic to do. Again, you're still solving for the variable. I usually have to tell you what variable to solve for. If I had said solve for r, we would have divided both sides by t. Okay? All right. Let's look at the next example. I know there's a little problem written here. I'm going to write that bigger in a moment. We have 3x plus 5y equals 12. Now there's an x and a y. I said solve it for y. That means get y by itself. Well, I've got this 3x over here. A lot of times you guys got used to, okay, to get rid of this, we'd have to divide by 3. Well, think about it. If you divide by 3, you're only getting rid of the 3. Are you getting rid of the x? No. We've got to get the x, we've got to get the 3x all the way over to the other side of the equation. To do that, we've got to subtract 3x, because 3x minus 3x completely cancels it out. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So I'm going to write minus 3x over here, and that gives me 5y equals, now you can write 12 minus 3x, or you could write negative 3x plus 12. Many of you have gotten in the habit of writing the variable first, so we'll do that. So we've got 5y equals negative 3x plus 12. How do we get the y by itself? Now we're going to divide by 5, divide by 5, and we're going to get y equals negative 3x plus 12 divided by 5. Again, notice, okay, did we do any real arithmetic? Yeah, we had to multiply and divide each side by 5, but there was really nothing we could do there. Okay, for the third one. 2x plus 5 equals 4x plus 3y for y. So here's the y over here. If we want to solve for it, we have to get rid of the 4x. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides, and I get 3y equals 2x and negative 4x. When you combine them together, gives you negative 2x plus 5. Is the y by itself? Of course not. How do we get rid of the 3? Divide both sides by 3. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a switcheroo here. If things are equal, you're allowed to switch the sides. Y equals negative 2x plus 5 divided by 3. You guys follow me there? As a side note, if you wanted to distribute this 3, and if you wanted to do the division, you are welcome to. Okay, you could divide the 3 by the negative 2x and the 3 by the 5, or the 5 divided by the 3, and it would work out. This would give you negative 2/3 x plus 5/3. That's a little bit messier, so we don't generally do that. There are points where you may have to in the future. So you can divide that, but if you divide it, you got to divide it by both of them. All right, the last one